Hello there. Welcome to Shane Talks. May the 4th episode, 2024. I am here today with Mr. Jason L. Mayer, the greatest co-host in the history of podcasting. We're also joined today by best scar-wearing Christopher Meek, who is a longtime friend of the show and who was on the first ever May the 4th episode that we did 5 years ago. This is our fifth one that we've done special for May the 4th. I love the fact that we've kept this tradition going. As of now, most likely the last one that we're going to do. Jason and I are attempting to wrap up the series by the end of this year. There might still be some special episodes every now and then, and maybe a May the 4th one will be a special one we do in the future. But for now, possibly, potentially the very last May the 4th episode. Chris, appreciate you joining us, sir. How are you?
I'm happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I'm doing very well. And as May approaches, I'm very excited, I'm sure as you are, to get the festivities started.
Absolutely. So, I do
Blue milk
apologize.
officially now.
Wait, what?
Blue milk, you can buy it officially. True Moo is making blue
In
milk.
stores.
Thanks for
In
jumping ahead of what I was
stores.
going to talk about in a little bit.
What?
I mean, thanks. You stole my thunder. I'm a little annoyed. If you can see the expiration date, it expires on May 5th. I'm a little disappointed I couldn't get one that expired on May 4th, but it is what it is. So, I mean,
Were you
okay,
a milk maiden? Were you a milk maiden looking through all the bottles trying to find May 4th?
maybe I might have done that. So cool. Well, we're just gonna do stuff out of order for a little bit. We'll get to the other shit here in a second. So yeah, hey, look at that, it's Nick, man. Welcome to the May the 4th Star Wars podcast. How are you today, sir?
I'm doing good.
Who's your favorite Star Wars character?
Probably Luke Skywalker, maybe BB-8.
Nice, very cool. And your favorite Star Wars movie out of all of them?
I'm thinking right now, maybe it's probably the last one.
The last
Skywalker.
Rise of Skywalker, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you very much for stopping by, sir. You have a good night.
Right.
So yeah, blue milk, it's a thing. When I was at Batuu in Galaxy's Edge, I had alcoholic blue milk. What I went ahead and did tonight, to kind of pay tribute to that is, I mean, you can't really see how blue it is. Trust me, it's blue. It's definitely
It's
blue.
pretty.
But so I looked up some recipes for it. Didn't really find one that I liked, so I kind of put my own one together. I started off with a Hard Truth toasted coconut rum. I'm a big coconut fan, as the second ingredient will attest to. Hard Truth's toasted coconut cream, make it a little thicker and creamier. So I got some rum, I got some coconut rum, I got some coconut cream, threw a little pineapple juice in there as well, just kind of sweeten it up a little bit, and then topped it off with some blue milk. So yeah, don't drink a whole lot anymore these days, but in a throwback to our time at Galaxy's Edge, I thought I'd put together a little blue milk alcoholic drink for me tonight. So, Chris, have you ever had the alcoholic one there?
I have. I enjoy the rum in my blue milk. And I will say, and I'll go on record as saying the blue milk is far superior to whatever the green milk is.
I haven't tried the green milk.
So they have both, and they will offer you one twisted as well, and it just taints the blue. So I will say always go for the blue.
Yeah, I feel dumb. I didn't even pay attention. Is it at the same stand that you can buy the green one?
Yep. Yeah, you can get them both there. And you can get alcohol in both of them. I think they use rum in both, and but I just feel like the blue's a lot more refreshing, and the green just tastes kind of like grass, which maybe some people like that, but it's not my cup of tea or cup of milk.
Very interesting. I guess I was just so dead set on getting blue milk, I didn't pay attention to the rest of the menu when I was there. So, yeah, I mean, my concoction's not as good as what I had down there, but it's still tasty enough for me today. It's coconutty and refreshing. So, yeah.
Did you crush up ice, Shane, and make it nice?
I just poured it straight in there. I don't even know if I have ice trays, to be honest. So yeah, no, I didn't put any ice in there.
It's okay. That's how it would have been anyway. They wouldn't have taken the time to fancy it up and put it in a blender.
Right on. Yep. So yeah, that was one of my notes down the way a little bit, but I'm happy we jumped ahead to that. So yes, you can buy blue milk. It's milk. Like I don't know what the exact like flavor is. Like it definitely has like I wouldn't say berry, but like it it's milk with something else in it that has flavor to it. So it's okay. It's not bad. Yeah. So blue milk, it's a thing. True moo. Yeah. So I found mine at Meyer. I don't know where else you can buy it at, but I went to my local Meyer and picked it up there. Now we're gonna go on to some serious shit for just a minute. Some sad and unfortunate and disappointing shit that I don't like talking about. The very first ever episode that we did of the Shane Talks May the 4th episode, which was filmed on May the 4th, but then we didn't release it until like May 20 something. If it was a couple of weeks later, because I wanted it to be the 4th episode that we released, but like, yeah. So anyway, on that episode where Chris was a guest, Jason's brother Dave was a guest on there. Jason's brother's son Drew was a guest on there. My friend Jay was a guest on there. And then also my buddy Samir was on there. Samir ended up showing off a bunch of his Star Wars Legos that he had. He took us kind of on a tour of his upstairs where he had a whole bunch of Star Wars shit. Probably, and definitely more than me, one of the biggest Star Wars fans I've ever met in my entire life. Absolutely loved it. Um, Samir passed away last week. He was in the hospital for about 8 weeks total. In and out of the ICU. It was pretty rough. Lots of ups and downs. Lots of times that we thought he was going to be getting better. Today was his funeral, so that was kind of rough. Earlier today, they definitely had people wear Star Wars attire to the funeral. There was lots of people in Star Wars T-shirts, and I wore my R2D2 tie. His wife wore a shirt that they had bought him for a Father's Day recently that said "I am your father," and then had two lightsabers with each of his daughter's names in them. Um, so yeah, so it was really sad and disappointing to have to say goodbye to Samir. Like I say, huge Star Wars person. I've spent the last couple of days kind of combing through his Facebook, even though I'm not really technically on Facebook anymore. His profile is pretty public, so I was able to go through and go back and look at a bunch of stuff. Saw a bunch of stuff that he tagged me in when I was on Facebook. Like one time, he tagged me and said, "Shane, my wife has executed Order 66 on the thermostat. Please send more Jedi's over." And it was just like that was kind of his weird sense of humor for stuff. He tagged me one time that he had found a newspaper clipping of the movie showtimes for June 15th of 1986, like when they used to print like movie posters and theaters it was playing at and showtimes and stuff like that in the newspaper. He randomly tagged me in that, which I thought was pretty cool. Samir actually, in real life, or in real digital life, got to be a Jedi. What was it? Ed Martin Nissen here in Indianapolis. They did a commercial, a May the 4th commercial, where he played a Jedi, and it was a whole May the 4th thing that they were doing for selling cars and whatnot. But it aired on TV. His daughter was in a Chewbacca, like a little baby Chewbacca costume in the commercial also. So that's online. That's on YouTube to be able to watch. Huge huge Star Wars dude, and really, really fucking sucks that he is not around anymore. He was one of the last people that would just randomly call me for absolutely no reason. Every time he called, I thought it was to give me bad news. I thought, oh shit, like something's wrong with somebody that we know, or something's terrible. Hey man, what's going on? What's the problem? Nothing. Just calling to see what was up. Haven't talked to you in a while. What's going on? Never saw the dude without a smile on his face. Just a huge bundle of happiness. Watching his wife's Facebook page and seeing all the outpouring of shit that people have been saying to her, like finding out that people that I didn't even know knew Samir, like watching comments and likes and things like that. I'm like, I didn't even know that this person that I know also knew Samir and Paula, sorry. Just sucks, man. Jason and I've been talking a lot recently because of other personal life stuff going on. Just don't take anybody for granted. You never know when shit's gonna happen like this. You don't know when your last moment of being with somebody's gonna be. So just treasure it. Just enjoy it. I'm going to try to do better in my life to reach out to people because I mean, like it's probably been I don't know, a couple of months since I had actually like hung out with him and like seen him out in public or anything like that. And then when all this shit happened, it was just not. It's that yeah, with the big regret. You know, I should have spent more time with him. I should have tried to reach out more often. I should have hung out with him more often. And like sucks. So that's my PSA. Samir will be on this entire episode. I am adding him to the lower right hand corner of the screen as a force ghost to be with us throughout this episode. So Samir, brother, I'm happy you were here in spirit, and I'm again sorry to start the episode off on such a shitty down note. So this is the blue milk for Samir. All right, let's try to move on to some fun, happier shit. I just talked about the 2020 episode. 2021, Jason and I did it solo, just the two of us. 2022, we did it solo, just the two of us. Last year, we had the pleasure of having Drew Stafford on with us, and The Mandalorian joined us last year. So that was a lot of fun, hanging out with the two of them for the episode and talking about stuff. And then this year, we have Mr. Chris Meek back, bringing everything full circle. So I'm very happy to have you back, man. Oh, this is what I was going to talk about blue milk. So if you guys don't know, True Moo is blue milk. All right. We've gone over that now. Cookie Wars. I want to talk about Cookie Wars. 2 years ago, Jason and I did a quick little short thing for Sarah Selling Cookies. After we were done with it, Jason came up with an even bigger and better idea for Cookie Wars 2, which we did this past year in December and January. And I can't even begin to express how proud I am of what we did. Mr. Meek, have you had a chance to see it? Have you seen it? Have you seen it?
So yes, I have. I've seen both 1 and 2, and I was very pleasantly surprised when Cookie Wars 2 was released to see that it was a 4-minute adventure that I was going to go on.
Yeah.
So nearly quadruple the time of 1. So I will say the production value is outstanding for
that.
the amount of time, and it's very fun to watch, and then the attention to detail. So I was rewatching in preparation for our discussion today, and for the first time noticed that when Sarah Ray relinquishes the cookies, there is a note written in Arubesh on the cookies that says back to the Mandalorian, and I was astonished that little detail was in there, and I absolutely loved it. So I forgot I have a note card that's the Arubesh alphabet that I had to go and
oh, nice.
Yeah. So
I love the fact that somebody actually did that. Chris, you're my hero now, man. Thank you.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
It's just those little details. I mean, it makes a difference, and it's so much fun like that. So I mean, I'm excited to see what comes out of next year, but seeing more familiar characters pop up and seeing more folks we know involved was really cool.
Yeah. Jason has an idea for episode 3. We did some brainstorming with all the kids when we were downtown at Comic-Con a couple of weeks ago, and the kids threw out some kind of fun ideas that we might be able to do for Cookie Wars 3. And then Jason and I have talked about some other plot ideas and details that I think I am super excited. I'm like mega excited about what we're gonna do. Like I as much as good as the production value was with 2, I think what we have planned for 3 is just gonna knock it out of the water. But I mean, like, if I'm remembering correctly, we have some openings for some other adults and kids that might be able to come and be a part of this. If you would know anyone who might have some kids who like Star Wars, who might be interested in being a part of things.
I may know a few people, so yeah, I'll be in touch.
We're planning a fairly large epic battle as Mr. Darth Vader comes back to reclaim the cookies that he lost. I think if you know anybody that would be interested in doing a little acting, we could probably make something happen.
I know 3 or 4 people who would definitely be interested.
Badass.
Well, definitely 3. A 4th might need some convincing. So
Right on.
she's a
Mr. Mayor, you got anything to say
she's
about
more
Cookie
behind.
Wars?
She's more behind the scenes than in front. But
It's a lot like
yeah,
my wife.
yeah,
So
yeah.
no. I'm glad to see what morphed from episode 1 to episode 2, like, and how that changed and evolved, and what we have planned for episode 3 should be quite the fun moment. We are going to do an original trilogy only, so it will be the last Cookie Wars. But Sarah Mayer has some other ideas that if she is staying with Girl Scouts even longer, we've got some other ideas after Cookie Wars 3 to that will have fun with some classic cinema as well. So
And then in 20 years, when Sarah has a child, we'll go back and we'll do the prequels to Cookie Wars. Your producer's already got this shit planned out, man. Like I'm already planning ahead. We'll figure out how to.
I'm like, you're just gonna put her in a room and she'll get scanned, and then you'll just like type some stuff, and all of a sudden everything will just happen
There
on.
you go.
We won't even shoot anything. Like
That's
it'll.
true. That'll probably be what happens.
Mm.
Yeah. So and hopefully we're gonna shoot some of that this summer because with the scale of what we're gonna try to do, I'm gonna need a little bit of extra time to make lightsabers happen the way that we want lightsabers to happen. So won't be as close and small of a production on this one. I think we're gonna try to get things going this fall and make it pretty epic. And I'm excited for what we're gonna do. Let's talk about Galaxy's Edge. Chris, how many times have you been to Galaxy's Edge like before it opened, didn't you?
Yeah. So in total, I've been 10 times to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge.
So jealous. I don't count lightsabers
So
if I go 10 times.
so I did not build lightsabers all 10 times. In fact, I have not participated in lightsaber building at Savi's.
Oh, okay.
When I went with my oldest son, Bennett,
Mm-hmm.
on his first trip, he was given the option to build a lightsaber or build a droid. 'Cause at that
Okay.
time, we couldn't, it was impossible to get in either one. And he opted to build a custom droid. So I have here with me is ME3K.
Oh,
Is a
that's
BB unit.
awesome.
So he's been in the family since 2019.
That's
So
awesome.
that was our second trip. So my wife and I were able to participate in at the time we were annual pass holders to Walt Disney World. So we were able to participate in an advance trip to Batuu in the summer of 2019 before it opened to the general public.
That's
Um,
awesome.
with as much that they've done in that space, that was still the most memorable trip because the cast members at that time were still fully into it, in character. You were really transported off planet into another world. You were at Black Spire Outpost. They were talking to you like you were an outsider, and you can still get some of that here and there, especially with the character thing like Savi's and at droid building and with some of the character interactions, but it was everywhere you went.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I wish that we could
Yes.
have experienced something along those lines. But I know like they closed down the hotel by the time we went, Shane, or
Yeah.
was it? Yeah, I thought it was closed, or maybe they didn't close it yet, but they were about to.
No,
I can't remember.
I think they just had like a month or so before we went.
Okay. And then but yeah, like I've been, oh geez, 3 times. Yeah, I've been 3 times to Batuu. So
I've been there twice. Second time's lightsaber building was a lot better. I'm not better, but like the first time that I went in 2021, the guy was still wearing the mask, and I just feel like that
Ah,
really disconnected from his presentation was fine and he did everything good, but like the girl that we had this time, she killed it. She was awesome. Very cool. So you haven't ever gone into experience the lightsaber building at all, Chris? Like not even as
I
a
haven't.
guest?
I've watched videos of it, and
Okay.
I obviously know people who have done it. Yeah, I haven't even been able to participate as a guest, so
Man, it
definitely
is.
on my list to do still at Disney, because I mean I know it's an awesome experience.
It is so
I also know
amazing.
it's not a cheap experience when but all in perspective for the character um, interaction and just the overall experience. I mean I can't wait to get in there and lift the lightsaber to the middle
So
of the
mine from
room.
this year, I went with the High Republic one. Very much
Nice.
love this one. Mr. Mayor, you and I have some issues because like I don't like your choice. But why don't you talk about your choice? I mean, you made a cool lightsaber, but I can't support your choice. You and Joel, who you can see Joel behind you. Yeah, that's a cool looking lightsaber. But when you turn it on,
What's the problem when I turn it on?
why are you a Sith? Bro, you're so much better
Why
than
do I'm not I don't have to be a Sith just because I have a red blade.
why else would you have a red blade?
Well, I mean, you could be a dark Jedi, right? Like you don't have to be a Sith to be a blade. So, but I will say that, well, Shane, I believe that they always talked about how Darth Vader was trying to bring balance to the Force. And if I already have one light-sided lightsaber, I needed to have a dark-sided lightsaber as well. So
Which I
that,
mean, as I've said, the next one that I go build is going to be that hilt, almost exactly the same as yours, because I think that's dope with all the spikes and everything on it. But I'm gonna be putting a purple blade in it, or maybe an
Yeah.
orange blade. It will not have a red blade, and I cannot have a red bladed saber. I just can't do it. But then
Did you guys
I
have the opportunity to go into Doc Ondar's and so they do have the option to purchase
yep,
different kyber crystals
yep.
for the lightsabers, and it used to be that there was a way that you could shine a light into the container that you had and see. So obviously the black crystal was the one that everyone was looking for, but they've put some more systems in place to make that
Oh, have
not
they?
as easy for folks to be able to find them now, but it's
Well,
still a rare find.
am I correct that it has to be a Sith crystal that you buy to get the black one, or can the black one be in any of them?
It can be in any. Well, it used to be
It-
able to be in any of them. They may have changed that to just the Sith one now.
For some reason, I thought that I had read at one point that if you were trying to get the black one, that you had to buy a Sith like a kyber crystal thing, but I could
Yeah.
be wrong. I know that the white ones originally you couldn't. The white ones were random also, but now you can buy the
Mhm.
white ones.
well, and a lot of people sell like different versions of them on like Etsy and stuff too. Like
Yeah,
you
you can make your own or get
can
them made.
buy, well, and I thought it was kind of interesting, but also kind of a genius move. You can tell that they sell, depending on which path you go on out of the four, um, somebody's going into Disney and buying those and then literally taking them apart and selling each section for like $60 a piece. So
Oh
like
wow.
figure that $60 times, I mean, that's $240 and probably, or they're probably making a little bit of money. Maybe it's a Disney employee for all we know. But like, yeah, like because I was on there, I was like, my first lightsaber has an issue with it because because it was the blade was inserted incorrectly at one point, and so now the connections aren't the best. That's not by anybody's fault except for me and my kids. So, but it's definitely something where like I was like looking into, ooh, how much would it cost to just replace the inner workings of it? And like the inner part is like $100 by itself. And then, oh well, I guess that's $100 plus the if you're cutting it up and
The
you're into those
pieces.
four sections, you're making
You're making
300,
$100. Yeah.
300. So you're making $100 off of every lightsaber you buy and break down that way. And they're probably selling the blade and the kyber crystal separately too. Um, so they're probably making 400 or something off of that, or
Wow.
bumping it. But yeah, no, I love my lightsabers. as I told somebody, they're $500 worth of expensive table weight. Uh like but
Yep, and
yeah.
you and I display them very similarly. We on Etsy bought the same stands that you can display them on that have the LED lights so you can change the colors of them, and you've got yours. You and I also made the same decision that your stands are lit the same color as your blade for that lightsaber, which is the same way mine's go.
Nice.
You know?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for finding those on Etsy because I love it. Those
Cool.
great. So
yeah, very
Yeah, but
cool.
I mean, the $500 though was much more about the experience, though, right? I mean, that's something that you can't
Absolutely.
put
And
a price
especially the
tag on,
second
right?
time being able to do
Yeah.
it with Dave and Joel, like all of us being in there together. The first time I did it by myself. I went in there by myself. I had no guests with me. Yeah, and it was, and like I said, it was cool. But the second experience with all four of us together, and our girl just killed it. She knocked it out of the park with her performance. Lots and lots of fun.
and my brother picked the one that was nature based.
Which of all of them is the one that I said that I would never do. I thought it was the ugliest and the like. I don't understand why anybody would want that. And he picked it, and I was like, I'm gonna keep my mouth closed. And then later we were talking, and he explained. Go ahead and explain what he said.
So his favorite character in the Star Wars universe is Boba Fett. And Boba Fett's like yeah, like the shape, like the hilt and how it looks and everything feels more like connected to nature as well as like something that like it just felt more like a Boba Fett kind of feeling or fitting more of Boba Fett than any of the other ones. So I thought that was kind of a cool thing and look forward to being able to. He also has a where I have a sweatshirt, a zip up hoodie of the Rebel flight suit. He's got an entire sweatsuit of Boba Fett's armor. And then he has the Boba Fett Black Series helmet as well. So it's pretty dope. So I'm super excited that he got a lightsaber that still fits that and works with his whole motif. So it's pretty cool.
It's absolutely cool. Well, let's shift gears and kind of talk about some video games real quick. See if there's any video game stuff for us to talk about. Since Jason and I's trip in February, I came home and I really leaned into getting Star Wars back in my life. So I re-downloaded and started playing Star Wars: The Old Republic, the MMORPG game. I played it for like the first 2 years that it was out, pretty hardcore. Then Destiny came out, and I kind of fell out of playing SWTOR. Got back into that and my time has waned since February. Like I was playing like 4 or 5 hours a day when I first got back because I was in Star Wars Overload and whatnot. But so I've been playing that quite a bit, having a lot of fun with that. While at Galaxy's Edge this last time, I bought this Jedi costume that I am wearing now, which is a step up from the previous Jedi cosplay that I've worn in past years and wore in Cookie Wars 2. I'm really excited about Cookie Wars 3, wearing like the official gear and feeling super dope like I do in this costume now. But I was able to it looks very similar to what my character in the game wears. So I bought the fingerless gloves that my character wears in the game so that I've got the boots now. I've got the full costume ready to rock and roll sometime whenever I go out in public. Full Jedi up. I love it. I don't know. I'm a nerd. I love acting. I love, all this kind of stuff. So I look forward to going out somewhere sometime soon in full Jedi attire with both of my lightsabers because my character in the game is a dual wield lightsabers. So I'm excited about it. But so yeah, so I was playing that. And my time is waned down a little bit since we came back, but I still try and get on every couple of days. Play. So it's fun to just kill shit with lightsabers. Throw in my lightsabers, slashing shit up. Like it's the most fun of any of the Star Wars games I've played. Within the last year, the new Jedi game came out, Jedi Survivor. Yeah, because Fallen Order was the first one, Jedi Survivor was the second one. You guys played either of those games on console? Nope.
I have not.
I've played Fallen Order and I got to a point where I was kind of playing it regularly and then it felt like I got stuck, if I'm remembering correctly, and it didn't make sense what I was supposed to do, and I've just never gone back to it. Because there was there's something on the Jedi training planet or something like that where I was somewhere and I just couldn't figure out my next step. But I was like, oh, I'll turn it off and I'll figure it out. I'll come back to it at some point, and just never did. So
And like, as much fun as the games are, and it's cool to be Cal Kestis and throw lightsabers and do lightsaber stuff. The problem with it is it's not a linear game. So like you can be in a place where you can see something over there, but you don't have the ability to get to it yet. So you have to keep playing through the game and then eventually at some point circle your way back to be able to go like I don't have double jump yet, so I can't jump across this gap yet. So 8 hours later into the game, I finally get double jump. And if I want to go get what's over there, I have to go all the way back through the game to get to it. So it was a little more annoying in the second game. I mean, it was kind of annoying in the first game. I think there's a lot of stuff that I never went back and redid in the first game because, like, throughout the game, you can collect different like lightsaber pieces and stuff to be able to customize your lightsaber, and a lot of those are the things that like you have to go back to be able to get and whatnot. And so I was just like, meh. So I kind of just knowing that playing the second game, I didn't care about going back as much. But I think the second game was a step up and a little bit better than the first one. I thought the story was better and it was better constructed and whatnot. So, I mean, if it's ever on sale and you like third person Jedi shit, like it's fun enough. It's a good time. I get well, and so I remember after I bought and played the first one, I bought the first one exactly when it came out. And when I was done, I was like, that was not worth $60. Like, I wish I would have waited till it went on sale. Like, there's no replayability, in my opinion. Like, once you get through everything that you can do in the game, it's just kind of done. So when the second one was announced, I was like, I'm not buying it the day it comes out. I'm waiting until it goes on sale. I don't need it. I know how I felt about the first one. It got to be the night before it came out, and I was like, nope, I got to play this tomorrow. Got to do it. Price. Buying it. I have to play the new Star Wars game. And literally, as soon as I was done, I was like, because I played it for like probably like 4 or 5 straight days, like marathon through the game. When it was over, I was like, yep, that wasn't worth $60. I really wish I would have waited. Wish I would have waited. I waited for it to go on sale.
hey man, I'm excited because who knows? Maybe it'll be on sale today on May the 4th, and I can pick it up at a cheaper rate. So
yeah. And like it's definitely a $20 game. Because like I said, I got like 4 or 5 like solid days of playing it out of it. Like it's got a good amount of playability and stuff to do. And again, like you're just learning new Jedi stuff to do and killing shit with lightsabers. Like that's really all I want out of a Star Wars game, and so it's fun. Which is why I'm not that excited about the next Star Wars game. The what's it called? Outlaws. Yeah, Outlaws. It's coming out on August, I think. Yeah, August 30th. Outlaws is coming out, and like the trailer looks cool, and I always like shit that's in the Star Wars universe, but like I like being a Jedi in the Star Wars universe, so like this game doesn't really do it for me. Have you guys seen the trailer? Do you have any interest in it at all?
yeah, I saw the trailer. I'm not that interested in the game at all. So
Gotcha.
Yeah, same. I mean, the trailer. I mean, it looks interesting, but it's probably not something like you. I'll spend $60
Are you a
on.
video game guy? Like, do you play video games?
So I do.
Okay.
So for those who don't know, in a past life, I did work for GameStop for many years, and
I forgot that. Wow.
yeah,
Good point.
so that I spent a lot of my 20s playing video games and selling video games and talking about video games. So um, during that time, video games kind of wore on me.
Okay, I got you. But so like right now, any video games that you play?
So yeah, so I play mainly first person and third person shooters. So I play a lot of Call of Duty, and I play Fortnite with my son, and we do that. So there is some anticipated Star Wars content coming to some which has been confirmed, and some that's conjecture. That's coming for May the 4th.
I finally have kind of sort of gotten back into Fortnite. I don't play anywhere near regularly, but when we got back from Star Wars or from Disney back in February, I just happened to one night be like, a long time ago, Jason told me that Obi-Wan Kenobi was in Fortnite, and I just happened to like look online, and the day that I looked, he was available to buy.
Oh, there you
And I
go.
was like, I don't know if he's available for a week. I don't know if he's available for 24 hours. So that night I literally re-downloaded Fortnite because I had deleted it from my Xbox, re-downloaded it just so that I could buy Obi-Wan Kenobi in the game. Played for a day or two with Obi-Wan Kenobi, and then I literally haven't turned it back on since then. But Jason is a hardcore Fortnite player. I call you a professional.
No, no,
No? Okay.
no. I am a casual player who only plays zero builds because I am a wuss.
Yes.
And I
No. Yeah. Well, so that's why when I re-downloaded it, because you and I talked about that before, I was much more excited about playing again, not having any building, and it was definitely a far superior, more fun experience when I could get the drop on somebody, shoot them and kill them, and not worry about them building a bunch of shit to stop me from killing them.
Yep.
So it was definitely a lot more fun playing that version.
yeah, I
More
think
enjoyable when you don't have 5-year-olds cranking 90s, which is what they call it, building those walls right in front of you and trapping you in their domes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I had people do that to me before, but they would just build shit around me so that I didn't know what to do. So
yep. But
what's your Star Wars Fortnite stuff, Jason? Like, do you know what Chris is talking about?
well, I mean, I saw the announcement that there was going to be Star Wars stuff on May the 4th, but I'm not fully aware of what's going to be available. I can tell you I have not bought Anakin. Oh wait, maybe I did. I'm lying. I do have Anakin. I've got Anakin, I've got Obi-Wan. Um, I've got Han Solo, I've got Princess Leia. I have like a stormtrooper. I've got Darth Maul, but
Oh, that's cool.
um, yeah. So
Yeah,
trying to
so
think
quick
of
question real
anybody else.
quick. Like when I bought Obi-Wan Kenobi, he just came with like this little like pickaxe or a little like shovel thing. Is there a lightsaber thing to break shit with?
No, 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 no. They
No?
haven't
Oh, okay.
because lightsabers are a weapon in the game. They don't have
Oh,
as a pickaxe as of
okay.
yet. It wouldn't surprise me if that's something that they're adding. Mr. Meek, I mean, you're dropping the knowledge of what we got coming.
Yeah, yeah. So so apparently this week. So I haven't played this week, but there are already some Star Wars um, weapons that have dropped in
Ah,
the game. Skins have been there. So prior skins that they've had have been released. The Solo Leia skins out. I don't know if they're re-releasing the Mandalorian. I think that's the one that
oh,
I have that you didn't mention, Jason. I do have that one.
I have that one as well.
That came out at a time when I was playing with you, and
Yeah,
so because you had to do stuff to upgrade his armor.
Yeah, to get the best
yeah,
card. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, yeah,
yep.
I do have that also.
Yeah, so what they're saying is that in the with the new update, we will see some Star Wars characters back in as NPCs or AI in the game, where you will have to defeat. So in the past, Vader has been in one of those character roles where you either have a quest where you have to defeat him, or if you kill him, you receive a medallion, and it will give you some sort of power within the game. So that's updated. But the big mystery, so with the launch of the new season of Fortnite, there is in the snow biome, there has been a glacier that has been consistently melting.
Yep.
And there was a plane that started at the top that has rolled off. And the new rumor is that there is an AT-AT that will slowly be revealed, which will make that snow biome look a little like Hoth after the battle, which I think would be absolutely awesome. But there have also been a lot of other rumors surrounding what's under that ice, so I guess we'll see.
I also wonder because I'm like, I don't think I have a Luke Skywalker. There's no Luke Skywalker skin yet, so that I can think of.
Yeah, no,
So
I
I'm
yeah, I don't
wondering
think
if
there
we're
has been
going to
one.
get a Luke and a Vader skins available to us or not.
Yeah, that would
So,
be great. I'd love to get a Luke pilot.
yeah,
Yeah,
that would be
I'll give
awesome.
it to Fortnite, man.
really cool.
They do a decent job of putting their storylines together for a game that's just about shooting shit.
So, yeah, I mean,
They do a great job with it.
it's interesting because I started playing in season 3, I think it was season 2 or season 3, and like I'm like I didn't I've never played a video game as long as I've played this, like one particular game. We've played the Halo series for, decades. But as far as this goes, I'm kind of surprised I'm still kind of that's where most of my guy friends that want to play video games want to go. So that's where I've been hanging out and that's what I do. And yeah, shame we gotta get you back into the groove of that a little bit.
I mean, I got
Yeah.
the game downloaded now, but you guys always have like 4 people. Like, you don't need me dragging you down.
Yeah, I play with my oldest. He loves to play and he's a big Avatar fan. And so
Oh, yeah.
Avatar is one of the things that are on there right now. And you can air bend and earth bend and wind bend and fire bend. And so we were playing not too long after all the bending fell onto the playing field. And we were it's him and I just playing duos and we were going in. We ended up winning the game, and I was like, "Oh, that was pretty awesome!" Like now I'm kind of surprised every now and then when that does happen, especially when I'm playing with my son, who isn't. He doesn't. He's not the. He's not like super dedicated to it, but he enjoys playing it. And so here we go winning a duo, and then we get to the scoreboard, and I'm like, "Wait a minute! He just outscored me. He just got 6 kills to my 4." And he
Nice.
was he was using firebending. Like, I mean,
Oh,
it was an entire team who also had it was a team who had hired one person, NPCs, one each. So there were four of them against me and him, and then one other duo team. And he ended up like just jumping in with the firebending and doing all of the firebending, kicking butt, and I'm just sitting there picking people off from the distance. Only, and next thing I know is like victory royale. I was like, "Oh, that's awesome! That's so great!" And I was like, "How did he outscore me?" Like, I should have known better. Like he threw caution to the wind, and I'm that. It's kind of like playing with you, Shane. It was just like back in the Halo days. Shane would just charge in no matter what, and it was like, "Hey, you're gonna." There, he's dead.
Yep.
Hey,
Yeah, I did that a lot. Yep.
hey, they're on my skull. They're on my.
They're on my skull. I said that a
They're
lot.
on my X. They're on my X.
They're on my X. Whole team on my X, guys. Whole team. The 3 of you are on the other side of the map. That's what happened.
And then he'd respawn and run right back into that exact same team.
that's
Like,
right.
let me see what I can do this time.
Oh
What is
man,
going on here, Shane? We
our
were up
Halo
by
days
two,
were
now we're down by 6. What is happening? So
I don't play video games slow. That's kind of one of my big downfalls. Like, and that was back way years ago when I was playing Fortnite with you. That was kind of my like. There's so much downtime in Fortnite where you're just like jogging around, waiting to come across somebody. Like, that just wasn't my place. But I mean, not the game's not fun. I do enjoy the game. Like I said, I played it a couple of times after I got Obi-Wan. Like, and it definitely the no building thing, lots of fun. Like, I very much enjoy that. So like, yeah, if you're ever looking for somebody, if you only got 3 or whatever, hit me up if I'm not doing anything.
All right.
I can jump on and I can be bullet sponge for you guys. I'll run in and you guys can just get people after they kill me.
Leroy Jenkins.
Yes,
thank
absolutely. Chris, do you play with both of your kids? Do they both play Fortnite?
They do.
Okay,
My 9-year-old and my 5-year-old.
very nice.
It's an exciting
Like, this
adventure.
game has just like taken over society. Like, this
Yeah.
is crazy. Well, and like, so okay, we'll tangent off because I don't understand something that I want you to explain to me. So what the fuck is this? Like, you can go to a mode that's literally just music. Like, is it like a club? Like, you go in there and just dance?
I have not done that. So, but what I can tell you is that my kids, all of my kids are into a game called Roblox. Um,
Okay.
and literally Roblox is a universe where everybody kind of creates their own games, and they're usually making like and they're knockoffs. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I just mean like, oh, I loved playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle side scroller. So people would create a side scroller that kind of looked just like the TMNT or X-Men back in the day, or like they make a zombie infection game or something, or like Among Us ripoffs and stuff like that. And so it's this entire game that universe where and think of Ready Player One, right?
Okay.
Like you literally like there's people who just go into rooms and just hang out and talk and type messages to each other, and then there's other ones that go off into other rooms and kill zombies, and then go over here and race cars and do all these other things. Fortnite
Fortnite has car stuff now.
and Fortnite kind of like decided to be the upscale version of Roblox because Roblox does not have the best graphics. It's
Okay.
very, very basic and it looks kind of like Minecraft graphic wise. Whereas Fortnite seems to have decided to go with like the same kind of thought process of let's let everybody create all sorts of different alternate versions of this game. Heck, you can I loved Nuketown back in the day with
Yeah.
Modern Warfare. And that was the one where there was two houses and then there was a bus in the middle between the two houses and then you would just respawn behind a house and then you would just go after each other and kill each other. Um and and so somebody recreated that. Somebody created a Nuketown but on Fortnite. And so,
Okay.
and like, yeah, and so it's just all sorts of different stuff. You can play music, you can play, you can do Rocket League kind of stuff because
I
Rocket,
saw they have Lego versions.
they also, but Rocket League was created by Epic as well.
Oh,
So,
Yep.
and then they teamed up with Lego Fortnite. So then you're basically doing Minecraft in Fortnite, but with Legos instead of that. So, and
gotcha.
the
Yeah.
graphics are really good on that too. So it's kind of like they just want to be the place where everybody hangs out, right? Because then you're going to spend money, and
Yep.
then that's what it is. So
Yeah,
that
and it's going to get even bigger. In February, Disney bought the majority stake of Epic Games,
Oh
so
wow.
there's serious consideration of adding Disney characters into that Unreal Engine universe
Oh
that
wow.
um, Epic has created with Fortnite. So I mean, it's a good smart move on Disney's part, but also on Epic when they think about just the moneymaker that it is already
Yeah,
and
and I
what
all
more
of a
they
sudden
can
you're
do
gonna
with
have
it.
access to all that intellectual property and being able to, that's the reason why they team up a lot with Marvel and with Star Wars right now. And
Yep.
they still partner with some other stuff like Avatar, but that's Nickelodeon. And that was probably already in the works before Disney purchased them back in
Yeah.
February.
Yeah, and
So
Rick and Morty and all
yeah.
those other.
I have a lot of Marvel skins. When I downloaded the game and got on there and was looking at stuff, I was like, damn, I have a lot of Marvel characters from when I played this last
Yeah.
time.
I'm still holding on to the hope that with Fortnite we'll at some point get a Jay and Silent Bob, or
Oh my
a
God,
Blunt
that'd be
Man and
great.
Chronic,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that and they gave you Michael Myers, and
Ooh, did
so, well they didn't give it to you. That was a skin at one point, and so
well, when Michael Myers is back in the store, you let me know again. I got the game downloaded now. I can go buy it.
I was gonna say I want Ghostface, man. Give me Ghostface.
Yeah.
Oh
That's
yeah.
all I want.
Yeah. Well, and like you feel like Jason Mewes plays the shit out of this game. Like, how have they not thought about teaming up with him to do a Jay and Silent Bob?
I don't know. Like I would love it for Jay and Silent Bob in their alternate, because like they can have different costumes or
Mhm.
Sure.
different variants on their costumes. Give me a Jay and Silent Bob, and then also a Chronic and Blunt Man. Like that's what I want out of that. They gave me the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They gave me some Transformers. I'm good with all those, but like I'm
It
not
might have
spending
been.
money much
Oh
anymore on
man.
Fortnite. But at like for skins anymore, but I'm like if they hit the right number or like if they give me Luke Skywalker, I gotta get Luke. Like I
Oh
cannot
yeah.
have him. So but yeah, so like they definitely, I've got a Patriot skin, I've got a Celtic skin. So
Man.
it's definitely been a money maker for people. And the amount of money that they've made has got to be stupid.
Yeah.
So,
Well, like, and I remember like Drew, like
Can you
when a
imagine
new
a Durr
season.
Burger into a movies? And like just that that
Oh,
that would be awesome.
but I remember like when we would play with Drew, and on like the first day of a new season, he'd already have like everything, and it would be like it cost like over $100 to buy
about
all the levels.
$100 for all the
Yeah.
V-Bucks to get that high.
to buy every level, and it's just like, bro, you're gonna play the game anyway. Like, why are you just buying everything on day one?
And I'll say back in the day that there were a couple of times where I ended up buying some levels. I never bought that many that quickly.
Right, but you only bought them at like the end of the season when you wanted to get the last couple of things or whatever. Like on day one, dropping $100 to get shit that you would have earned over the like what are they 3 month season or whatever important is that? I don't know how long Fortnite seasons are, like 3 months.
3 or 4 months is
Yeah.
About that.
You're gonna play enough, especially with how much you guys were playing. All that's like you don't have to have it on day one. That's $100 you can spend on other shit.
Yeah, and each time they do a new battle pass, it's like $10, $7 to $10. I think it's $10 pretty much now. It was like $7 when I first started playing. Once again, I don't mind spending that every now and then because it's actually, you think of how long it's been entertaining me, for overall so many years of me playing around with this game. So makes me, yeah, I'm willing to spend the $10 every 3 months, 4 months, whatever.
And especially for a free game, like for a free game that you didn't have to pay anything to be able to start playing, you feel like you want to support them and throw them a couple bucks here and there. Oh, I'm going to buy one less beer when I go out so that I can buy this skin instead. Like if you have to justify it in any way or whatnot. But
Yeah.
like you said, it's an entertainment value. You didn't pay $60 for this game up front and then have to add, more on and on and on. Like, it was free. Here, play our game. If you feel like giving us any money, that's on you. Like, it's a genius model. Cool.
All
Well,
right.
tangent about Fortnite. So let's look at the content we've gotten within the last year. Looks like we have a little visitor. Who that? Who that? Who that? Ooh. Ooh.
You scare him away.
Not my bad. Sorry about that. The biggest thing from the last year, and I want to say this dropped on May 4th last year, but I don't know 100% if that's factual. But last year, we got Ahsoka. I want your thoughts, feelings, opinions. How did you guys feel overall about Ahsoka? Our guest, Chris, why don't you start us off?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought, for me, it was some of the best Star Wars content that we've had. I mean, that I was excited about and lived up to expectations since the first season of The Mandalorian. I seeing some of the characters from Rebels as actual people was amazing.
Absolutely.
Seeing Ezra in person form, super cool. I thought, I mean, knowing that Rosario from Book of Boba Fett was coming through, and that was where they centered the character around. I think her portrayal is excellent. We see her character arc throughout all 8 episodes, and we see her really come to life throughout the entirety of the series. Seeing Chopper was super cool too. Just those moments that you had there. So yeah, I thought Filoni bringing those characters to life in reality and moving through that story arc was excellent.
I agree. I definitely agree. Jason, what you got to say?
I'm a couple of things. Overall, enjoyed the show. I think that one of the things that annoys me is that Zeb showed up in
Oh yeah. At the end of Mandalorian season 3.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they didn't make anything of it. He was just there at that bar, and then we never got anything else. So that kind of annoyed me, just because he's one of my favorites. And then I thought the creepiness factor of Thrawn and like what was going on that other planet was pretty cool. I'm really it's a downer that you're not gonna see Ray Winestone or
Yes. Balin.
Balin was,
so,
yeah.
like that you're not going to get any more of that, because I think that
Right.
could have been something amazing to like focus on, or even if you
Absolutely.
gave him his own show, even you could probably figure that out as well. So I my only thing that I didn't like is I felt like Ezra could have been more of a badass.
Correct.
Like just because like he's very much like and I know it's Ahsoka's show, but it's like you could have had him like even if he didn't want to grab his lightsaber from her and he was like and he just wanted to use the Force, I wish that it would have been more like I don't know. We've had these debates all the time, right, Shane, for 20 something years. I always felt when Yoda picked up his lightsaber, everybody like freaking cheered. They went nuts during episode 2 when he did that. I was one of those people that was like, no, that doesn't work for me. And the only reason is because it always seemed to me like Yoda was so awesome that he'd be like, I don't even need a lightsaber. I can just get out of my way, move over there, that kind of thing. Like he didn't need that at all, is the way that I always felt Yoda was more like controlling of the Force and like one with the Force. And I kind of wanted that kind of like out of Ezra, right? Because like if he's been lightsaberless for a decade, and then and so like I would just imagine that he could just be like force pushing people and throwing them all over the place and on like on a different level as far as that goes. But it is, I mean, it's fine. I think they have room to do a lot more with it, and I'm excited because Rebels is still my favorite thing that they've done since the original trilogy, probably. Overall, just like that entire story arc for that entire series is just that awesome.
Very
And
good.
um and I watched The Bad Batch and I've never seen Clone Wars. I keep thinking I need to get into it, but especially with the fact that Bad Batch is something that I'm enjoying, and the fact that I love Rebels makes me think that I should get back into trying to get into the Clone Wars so that way I can enjoy that a little bit as well, since I gotta wait a little while for more Star Wars content.
Clone Wars has waves. There is a lot of stuff in Clone Wars that is good, but there is some stuff in the Clone Wars that I don't care for. Like all of season 3 is a very political season with a lot of Amidala stuff and a lot of stuff focused on the Senate and stuff like that. But when you get into Obi-Wan and Anakin doing their stuff, and like when they bring back Darth Maul and when all the Dathomar stuff is going on, like when you learn Savage Opress's origin story, like there's a lot of really enjoyable stuff in the Clone Wars.
And I would just say that you brought up Darth Maul, and then all of a sudden my brain went to Rebels and
Oh yeah, yeah, because he
and
shows up there too.
that scenario and what happens in that with him and Obi-Wan. And it's like, and then I started thinking about it and I was like, see, Obi-Wan was even cool in Rebels, but I felt like in the television show Obi-Wan, he wasn't nearly as cool as he was in Rebels. Like, and so like to me it's really weird. And I want there to be some, we're getting all these awesome females, and I think that's wonderful. And that's definitely something you could do. But I also want to see some awesome guys again too. So like that you're just like, yes, like that's awesome. And like Darth Vader's the coolest guy still. And like I'm not I want to root for the good guys. And The Mandalorian was awesome for that first season, and then the second season he kind of dips down a little bit, and then the third season it's like he's got an army of Mandalorians with him, and they're awesome together. But it's like I just want the Mandalorian to be badass again. Like I just want some awesomeness from all aspects. So
Well, and I know I gave you shit earlier about having a red lightsaber, but I mean, and you were just talking about how you root for Darth Vader and because he's a cool character. Baylan Skoll is literally one of the greatest characters Star Wars has had recently. He Ray was absolutely amazing in that role, and like the way he portrayed that character and his subtlety and his nuances, and he was just very like you could tell that he was of a higher republic. He was of a very distinguished Jedi Order, and like like where he was contrasted by his apprentice, and like you could just tell that at one point he was a badass Jedi.
oh
Like
yeah.
he was a badass Jedi at one point and lost his way, which Ahsoka lost her way too, and it is what it is. But man, that is
Yeah.
literally like he is up there with Obi-Wan Kenobi for me as like some of my favorite characters that Star Wars has ever given me. Chris, looks like you got something
Yeah.
to say.
No, yeah, just the opening scene to Ahsoka,
Yep.
when Balin is going through the halls, and I mean there is a scene where he's not even in the shot, and the Force pushes. I don't remember who he's fighting at that point back,
Yeah.
and like it's very reminiscent of Vader in A New Hope, like his power, his sheer power, and who he is just seen in those moments. And to Jason's
Mhm.
point, like if we could have seen a story arc separate of just Balin,
Absolutely.
I mean, and who knows what'll be the future, but I mean, we wouldn't have Ray there, but like
I know.
that's just a powerful opening scene for him and sets the
Absolutely.
stage for what you're going to get throughout those 8
The
episodes.
one thing that got me, I mean, excited is not the right word, but I saw somebody suggest having Liev Schreiber take over the
Yeah.
character, and I think that would be fine. Like it would suck because obviously like Ray did an amazing job as that character, but I want more from that character. And out of anybody, and I feel like Liev Schreiber could at least grow the beard, look the part, and probably still give me a decent enough performance. And then maybe at some point they'll pull a Lucas and I'll get like a Balin prequel and they'll cast somebody younger and I can see him when he was still a Jedi.
And he'll be hanging out with Qui-Gon's younger version.
There you go. Yep.
So
Something cool like that. But yeah, so he was unfortunately I felt like he was a little
imposing so
underused.
quickly.
Good.
I said he's imposing and so quickly. Like
Yep.
it definitely is something that's, you're like, oh, he's somebody to not mess around with. You don't
He
want
is
to
something that I wanted more of in the show.
because you don't want to find out. So like it's just the way it is. So
I was sad in the episodes that he wasn't in because he, like I said, watching the show, he was somebody that I wanted a lot more of. I wanted to see more of. Kind of disappointed with his ending on the show, and I hope they find a way to give me more because literally, if they pull a Disney thing and decide we're not going to touch his character, we don't want to recast him, we're just going to leave it alone, I will be very upset. I want to know more about what happens with him. So yeah, that was the big one, and I thought it was decent. I wanted to be caught up on Visions by the time this show came out. I know last year, Jason and Drew both told me how good Visions was, and I unfortunately did not start it until a couple of weeks ago, and I've still got a couple of episodes to go in season one. So I've seen nothing of season two. Either of you guys watched any of season two of Visions or have feelings on Visions?
I like the first one. I haven't watched anything from the second one yet.
Gotcha.
So I will say, I think I've watched half of the second. Everything I've seen, the first one still to me, especially the very first episode of the first one, the duel with the Ronin character.
It's the
Like
black and white
nothing,
one.
yeah,
Yeah, that
nothing
one was
beats that
amazing.
so far. But there are some cool. So there's from the creators of Wallace and Gromit in episode or in series 2. There's it's called I Am Your Mother, which is kind of a pod racing type thing that so to
Okay.
see that come to life
Is it the claymation
is
style?
yeah.
Yeah,
So
cool.
you can
Nice.
tell as soon as you go through it,
Okay.
it's a lot of fun. But I mean I think we've watched that one a couple of times just because of the way it looks, and it's fun
Nice.
and more kid like. But I will say, like, watching through what I have, it's still like just the animation's beautiful to watch, and seeing Star Wars characters that you don't know or aren't familiar with, and just
Hmm.
bringing creation to some of those has been neat. But I definitely need to dig in and rewatch what we already have and
Well, I
watch
want to
some
go on
other
a
stuff.
little tangent real quick based on your comment you just made. Jason had thrown a little shade at the Obi-Wan series a minute ago, and I want to kind of expound on that. Like Obi-Wan, some of these prequel things that we're seeing, it lacks a lot of dramatic tension, in my opinion. And that was my problem with watching Obi-Wan, is I know Obi-Wan's gonna live. So at no moment when they kind of try to put him in peril am I ever actually worried about anything happening to Obi-Wan or anything happening to Darth Vader or anything like that. What you said about characters that we don't know, I think that is something that I would love to see them do more of, whether it's a new live action show or just that's why I think Vision is pretty cool. Is these are characters I have no idea about, and any one of them could die, and anything could happen to any of them, and I know if they're going to be 3 movies down the road, oh, they pop up there, so I know they survive what they're going through. Like, I think it would be fun and cool for them to find a way to give us create well, and I know they're talking about doing a High Republic movie or whatever, and hopefully that's going to be what I want. Of like these are characters that I don't know. Maybe they were in a novelization or in a book or something at some point. But like, give me characters I don't know so that I actually feel like something might happen to them because I don't know what's going to happen to them. So I would like to see a lot more of that in the Star Wars universe. Give me some more one-off movies. Give me some more badass Jedi movies and I mean, everybody knows me. I love connecting everything. Like, I love the Star Wars universe because I like finding the ways that everything connects, and I like seeing, when Rebel stuff pops up in another show, or when Clone Wars stuff pops up in Bad Batch. Like, I live for that kind of shit, like crossing over. But I also would love to see some stuff that I just don't know anything about, and give me stories that are just standalone that can be where I'm actually worried about a character, and I think that'd be a lot of fun.
And that's one of the great things about like Bad Batch and Rebels, right? Is like when they came out, not like if you watch Rebels now after you've watched Ahsoka or like you get that. But the other day, my nephew and I were joining you for that mystery movie on Monday, Shane. And we were talking about stuff and he brought up the MCU and we were talking about stuff and he was like, I just think this is, and I can't remember what he said specifically, but he was like, I think this is the reason why Black Widow was no good. And I said, I don't think that's the problem with Black Widow. I was like, Black Widow's fine for as a movie. And I said, if it had come out when it took place in the MCU, then you probably would have been a lot more engaged in that movie. But the fact remains that here you are knowing that when she dies, all the people that are, if anybody shows up in this movie, you know what their story is 10 years down the road. So here you're watching Black Widow and she's falling through the sky and she's like jumping off of like pieces of this falling debris. And it's like, we know she's going to live. Like, I'm not worried about her dying at all. Like, she's going to get on the ground at some point. Like, so it's just, the dramatic tension, the lack of dramatic tension because of that, does have an effect, I think, especially for like nerds, right? Like, they might not for an average moviegoer who maybe they forgot they even watched an Endgame or that Black Widow was even a part of that movie at any point. Like, congratulations, you're one of like 2 people in the theater that don't know what's going on. Like, so like, I don't know. For me, with the lack of dramatic tension, it doesn't help. And that's the reason why I was kind of hoping for a little bit more with Obi-Wan out of a show, because it's just like you have this rich history of him. And it was cool to see Ewan McGregor play him again. Like he's awesome. I love watching him play that role, but I didn't worry about him during the prequels, just like I'm not worrying about him during the TV show. So I don't know. And yeah, maybe I'm in the minority because of the fact that I'm such a nerd and I pay attention. So
well, we've mentioned the Bad Batch a couple of times in our conversations. I'm actually a week or two behind, maybe just a week. I haven't watched the one that dropped today, but how are you guys feeling about season 3? I know Jason and I were texting early on in the season, and I was really enjoying the first episode very much. The very first episode I didn't care for, but as it's built since then, I've really enjoyed season 3. Chris, what are your feelings on it?
So I have not seen season 3. I'm waiting for all episodes to drop so I can binge watch them with Bennett. So I'm still stuck at the end of season 2. So as far as I know, Omega is there with Crosshair, and that's kind of where he ended. So
Well, then, Jason, your spoiler-free feelings on season 3
go
thus
ahead.
far?
No. I'm not going to spoil anything for you. Season 3 is more entertaining.
Mhm.
It's given. I liked season 1 a lot. I felt like season 2
Absolutely.
dropped.
Yes,
It
I
wasn't
totally
as
agree.
good as the first. This third one feels like it stepped back up in the right direction for me, and you do have some dramatic tension in this series because
Yeah.
this is the continuation. And like, I mean, yes, there's some characters that are crossing over from other avenues of Star Wars, but for the most part, like, I don't know what happens to them. So like I'm excited, and um they're saying this is the end of it. They mentioned they greenlit a Dave Filoni movie at
Yep.
some point in time where he's most likely going to blend in a whole lot of stuff that he's created for Star Wars. And with that being said, I hope, if yeah, I'm a nerd like you, Shane. Like the View Askew universe is awesome because of the fact that Kevin Smith like interweaves constantly. He learned that from Star Wars probably. So I'm excited to see what Dave Filoni's going to throw on the screen and have, the adventures of Mandalorian and Grogu along with who
Mhm.
knows who else shows up. I'm guessing Ahsoka at some point in time because Rosaria Dawson's just awesome. So
Yeah.
Well, and like that's I'm blah. Where do I go with this? I'm frustrated because I assume we will not see Thrawn again until the Dave Filoni movie, and not the. I think the Dave Filoni movie is separate from the Mando Grogu movie. I think they're two separate things, correct?
oh, I thought they were the same, but I may
Okay,
be wrong.
I may be wrong about that. I thought that there was a Thrawn or a Dave Filoni movie that everybody is expecting to be a Thrawn movie of Thrawn getting back to the universe, which then makes me believe that Ahsoka season 2 is entirely going to take place on that planet, which means we won't see Ezra, we won't see Thrawn again until this Dave Filoni movie when it comes out, which probably like 3 or 4 years away.
I think
So
I think he's a spy anyway.
what's that?
I think Ezra's a spy.
You think so?
I think Thrawn's turned him somehow because there is no way that he should have been able to escape Thrawn being on that giant Star Destroyer and steals one of the ships and then ends up with the rebellion. Dude, I sniffed something. So
I mean, I hope you're wrong. I hope that's not the case. I did before the show was coming out. What I thought would have been cool is when Ahsoka gets out there, she finds out that they're like buddy buddy, and that they like because they didn't really have anybody else out there. That like Thrawn began manipulating Ezra and like making him his apprentice type guy or whatnot. And then Ahsoka,
the witches could have messed with his brain.
yes. But I mean, he did kill a lot of bad guys. I don't know. I just don't want Ezra to be a bad. I've known Ezra since he was a little kid, man. Like I've known him since he was like 6. Like, I don't want him to grow up and be a bad guy. It's like looking at Jake Lloyd and being like, "You're gonna grow up and murder a bunch of kids." I don't know. I don't know. I hope you're wrong. If it happens, it happens. But I don't want Ezra to be.
My kiddo, my youngest Luke, is every now and then I catch him watching Young Jedi Adventures. But
That was the next thing I was going to ask is if any of you guys had watched any of that with your kids. I haven't seen anything of it. So
uh,
fill me in on
it's-
this one.
I haven't watched it with him, but I have walked into the room while he's watching it. And so and I'll watch a little bit of it when it's on, but it's most of the time I'm not kidding you. I catch it somehow at the end of almost every episode when I finally walk into the room. But back in the day, I used to watch Phineas and Ferb with my two oldest all the time because that show
Oh,
is just the best ever for what was coming out when they were that young. And so I would say like Young Jedi Adventures. I mean, we used to leave the TV on all the time when it was when it was Phineas and Ferb. So it wouldn't surprise me. Like if I walked into that room, I probably would leave Young Jedi Adventures on somewhat. And then the but yeah, so I'd probably watch it if it was still on somewhere, but I'm not seeking it out. Let's put it that way.
Cool. It's on my
So
to
I'll
watch
say
at some point.
it's been on quite a bit around our house. So we have so I have a 5-year-old who is very into what I think he's probably watched through it 3-4 times.
Awesome.
So it is on a lot. I haven't sat down and watched through the entire thing, but I have caught some episodes, and I think it's a perfect example of Disney capitalizing on things that they do well, and especially with the popularity of shows like Bluey and those other, you know, 11 to 13 minute runtime, 2 episodes and a half an hour shows where they're trying to get some moral message across. They do that well. And I think it's bright colors, it's loud noises that help keep the attention of younger kids. But sitting down and watching it, so I will say, like, the quad of characters that's in every episode, knowing the quad of characters that we get through episodes 4, 5, and 6 and beyond, like, we have very similar character tendencies. So I mean, you have Kai, who's kind of like he's the leader of the pack, the Jedi type character. You have Liz, who's his female friend. That's part of that group. You have Nubs, who's the odd furry character, who, by the way, is also voiced by D. Bradley Baker, who does all 5 of the
Clone Troop 99.
Yes, Clone
Yes,
Troop 99 guys, which is pretty cool.
Awesome.
And then you have Nash, who's an awesome character. Who Nash is your female Han Solo character. So she is, the best pilot that they know, and she flies the Crimson Firehawk. So, like, for young kids who I see as 7, 8, 9-year-olds who might watch A New Hope and actually sit down and watch it for the first time and watch that original trilogy, they're going to be like, oh, hey, these remind me of some characters that I saw throughout that Young Jedi Adventure series, and kind of make those connections, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. It's something at some point I'll put on and mindlessly watch, but it's awesome. That sounds pretty dope. We got 2 trailers for things that are coming out soon. One of them is coming out on May the 4th. So you're talking about Tales of the Empire. Looks interesting. Or not. No feelings there.
Yeah, the trailer's fine, man. But come on, we know that everybody's been able to cut a good trailer together since like 2000. So, like,
Yeah, I guess so.
so I don't know. The trailers are fine. Tales of the Empire is more exciting to me than the other one. And I just say that just because of the simple fact that it seems like I don't mind getting some backstory on some bad guys for sure. So, but yeah,
It'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. Good.
I was just say he's really leaning into that red lightsaber.
Yeah, definitely is. So the other one that you made a hint at that you're not excited about is one that I wasn't excited about based on Celebration last year and all of the interviews with the creators and some of the cast, and made me really feel like it was a Star Wars show being made by a bunch of people that didn't know shit about Star Wars. Everything that happened last year had me not excited at all for this. But then I watched that trailer, and Carrie-Anne Moss stops a lightsaber with the Force. And that got me kind of hyped. I think it looks kind of dope. And it's a bunch of Jedi that I don't know anything about. Are they all going to probably get massacred? Yeah, probably. But I'm more excited having seen the trailer than I was in the years leading up to hearing about how it's being made by a bunch of people that don't care about Star Wars and they have more of a political message that they wanted to get across with the show. I didn't get that from the trailer. Hope I don't get it in the show. But like that trailer got me excited for it. It's lightsabers, it's Star Wars, it's fighting. I hope the story is good. But the trailer didn't do anything for you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, it did a little bit, but again, I'm worried about what they said beforehand. Then, I mean, if it was like if I had never heard all that crap, then yeah, maybe when I watched that trailer, I'd been like, yeah, let's do this. But the fact that they did say what they said kind of it unfortunately paints that picture ahead of time of okay, it looks cool, but is it going to be good at all? So that's what my concern is. The
The
acolyte.
Acolyte. Yeah,
Uh,
Acolyte.
it looks fine. I'm sure I'll watch it because I watch everything that's Star Wars related because I'm a geek. So, but yeah, I'll watch it, and I hope that I'm wrong. I'm always hopeful that the next Star Wars thing will be good, and Disney has let me down a lot from the content perspective for anything like heavy, except for like the first. I really love the first season of The Mandalorian. Second season was
And I think we
okay.
just had nothing. I think we had. I had no expectations for it. Like I
Yeah,
was like, "Oh, cool! It's a Star Wars thing," but man, they came out swinging and nailed it. And yeah, that
yeah.
first season is
Even
great.
even that first episode was just kind of like okay, but then they definitely picked up and were like running with that ball a whole lot better throughout the first season for sure. So,
Mhm.
and I hope that they do that. Ahsoka was good for the most part. I just want something that makes me feel like Mandalorian again, where it's just like, holy crap, I cannot wait for the next episode every week. That's what I want. So
Chris,
you
what are
have
your feelings on the Acolyte?
I was gonna
No,
say
I
you
just
with Lost, Shane. I want it with a Star
the
Wars television.
I'm with you, Shane. Like the trailer definitely gets me excited for it, but then I hear Jason say something like anybody can throw a bunch of stuff into a trailer and make it great, which is absolutely true.
Yep.
Episode
But I mean, hopefully we're hopefully we're not seeing the best stuff in the trailer. But like I mean, I saw, and it's conjecture and it's to sell a show, but like someone said that it's like Frozen meets Kill Bill, and for me, if there is any action within that resembles anything that Tarantino could put together for a show like Kill Bill, and I think I saw some of that in some of the trailer. I think there was a moment with some lightsabers where I could see a Tarantino moment of a black and white flash and the story go to black and white and then have an
Hmm.
amazing battle. Now, if that will ever come to fruition, probably not. But stuff like that gets me excited, but also that stuff on paper. And I guess we'll see when it comes out how much actually um, comes to fruition. Hopefully, it's not a letdown. But
Yeah.
um,
I'm trying to keep my expectations low for
yeah.
it, but like I said, like there's some stuff in that trailer that just gets me. I love lightsabers. I want to see, and like I mean, we kind of got it in episode two. Like we kind of got to see Jedi in their prime in a battle, in a war, or whatever. But like that's what I've always wanted. And like episode two is what it is, but like that's why I'm kind of excited if slash when this High Republic movie ever comes out. Like, give me the Jedi's, 3,000 years before the prequel series when like they are the peacekeepers of the galaxy and everybody's afraid of them and they are badasses and like give me something like that. Like I'm excited for like.
Well, and with that, right? Like, let's say you've been following Star Wars lore for way more deeply than I have, even though I love Star Wars, you tend to dive into it a lot more. I would love give me give me a character that everybody knows from back then too. Like,
Sure.
and then all of a sudden kill him in the first episode. We didn't know how that person died, maybe, but like everybody knows that he was supposed to be a badass. Like, and give me Cypher Diaz, and then all of a sudden, like,
Oh yeah.
mowed down. Like, so then now all of a sudden we're like, wait, what? Like, give me a Drew Barrymore moment from Scream, where like I'm not expecting it to happen because they're supposed to be awesome, and then all of a sudden they're dead. Like, I don't know. I just think that they have the ability, and that's another thing. I just said it out loud. Now I'm like, it'd be really cool to see like a horror movie Star Wars. Like
Oh,
like
sure.
I mean,
whether that's
we got the dark troopers, so
yeah, you got Dark
Yeah.
Troopers, and they're on the hunt. Like give me something that's dark and twisted.
Mhm.
I mean,
Yeah,
imagine a ship full of Jedi. They crash on a planet, and it literally turns into aliens. Like they crash on a planet, and all of a sudden you've just got these predators that are hunting them down, and they like not that they'd be afraid of them, but like maybe they're overwhelmed, maybe they're overrun, maybe a Jedi or two do die, and like you've just got a situation like very horror, like the original Alien movie or something.
and you can still make it PG-13, so it makes a ton of money, but like let's throw a little bit new life into things. I don't know.
Sure.
I find myself saying that a lot when now that I'm older, is like I want you to spin it so that I'm not expecting it. And because of the fact that if you do that, it can be something different and fun and entertaining. I don't want, I mean,
That's a huge problem with Hollywood these days. Is like people like us have just seen so many movies that like the movie you and I went and saw on Monday night. 20 minutes into the movie, 30 minutes into the movie, you predicted something that was supposed to be a big reveal near the end. Like as soon as you predicted it, I was like, Jason's right. Like that's exactly how this movie is gonna play out.
and I
Like,
was right.
and you were
So,
right. Movies are
but you know what? It wasn't it wasn't bad. We saw
Boy Kills World.
yeah, Boy Kills World, and it's very violent. Uh, you want something Quentin Tarantino-esque
Mhm.
along those lines. It's a messed up movie. But I did fall asleep in it as well because of the fact that I was not connected to any of the characters very well. But it was still like it wasn't a waste of time.
In your
Uh,
defense, you fell asleep in the first third of the movie during a very unimportant plot-driven area of the movie. You didn't really miss much violence. So by the time you got your nap over and woke back up, it was when shit started picking back up.
So, but I mean, give me something a little bit different. Give us something exciting that we haven't seen before with the Star Wars universe. And I think you can, especially with the fact that, like, do you guys remember there was you guys will know the name as soon as there was a video game where you were going to be in like the underbelly of Coruscant, and
Team 13.
like, give me
And
that.
there's a small rumor that project might be getting revitalized. Like I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago, a bunch of the studios that were working on Star Wars projects all got shut down. That game got canceled. It was supposed to be where you were a bounty hunter and you were going down to Coruscant level 1313 to do something bounty hunter like down there or whatnot.
Hmm.
I recently did see an article that the people that were in charge of that project have like started rehiring people again, and it makes it sound like they might be trying to bring that project back, or they might be rolling it into a different Star Wars project. But I've been hearing that the groundwork they laid when they started working on that project might be coming back in one way or another. So
And that'd be cool. Like it sounded different
yeah.
and exciting. So,
Well,
um,
and Boba Fett. So that project, when it was originally written and started, was supposed to be a Boba Fett video game,
I
and
remember that.
then they knew at one point they were going to be using Boba Fett down the line in the TV shows, so they forced them to remove Boba Fett from the game, and that's when it got changed to just some like random bounty hunter character. But when that game first went into production, it was supposed to be a Boba Fett driven video game.
Which, speaking of which, why can't they remake Jango Fett for our new consoles? Give me a retro make of
Oh,
that.
You know, Chris, pitch me a Star Wars movie. Like, pitch me or Star Wars anything. Like, if you were given the keys to Disney to do a Star Wars project, what kind of project would you want to see?
So I think I mean I would lean into what I think excites me about the potential of the Acolyte and really go dark and gritty
Okay.
and violent with it.
Okay.
Appeal. I think and that's going to be a twist from Disney because we've been getting, like Jason said, we've been getting the PG-13 stuff
Yep.
that's family friendly. So give me something that's um R-rated. Show me some blood. Um get get twisted a little bit, and but I'm of the same mindset that I want to see new characters that I don't know, that I don't have any attachment to, that I don't know what will happen to them 50 years from now. So I can grow some emotional attachment to them through the storytelling, and you know predict what might happen, and then maybe it come back around. So
Well, and even now thinking about it, like I was just like, oh, we got Rogue One. Yeah, but even in Rogue One, like they didn't kill off any of those characters in the middle of the movie to make me like feel like that could happen. They literally waited until when I knew they were all gonna die anyway. Like I just yeah, like Rogue One didn't even really give me that sense. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of disappointing.
yeah,
But yeah, it's it's going to be interesting to see where Star Wars goes from here moving forward. I know they've said that they want to do better quality stuff instead of the mass amount of content. They said the same thing about Marvel. They kind of realized that they were kind of oversaturating things with subpar stories. So hopefully we get some better stuff coming up in the future. I know on May 3rd, Mr. Mayor and I will be going and seeing Star Wars Episode 1 in the theater, the 25th anniversary. This is like the greatest year ever. It's the 25th anniversary of 1999. So they're re releasing a bunch of 99 movies in theaters again. I'm able to go and see a couple of them in the. I went and saw The Matrix not too long ago. We're going to see The Mummy here pretty soon. And then we're going to go watch Star Wars Episode 1 on the big screen again, which Jason and I went, what was that, like 3 or 4 years ago when we watched it on the big screen? Was it longer than that?
Dude, that's like 10 years ago
Oh,
when they
okay.
re-released it in 3D.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
for
like 10
Was it
years ago.
10 years ago? Oh, okay, cool. So it's
Still
been
had
a
your
while since I've seen
AMC
it.
pass. Still had your AMC pass from Feliciano.
Oh, wow. Yeah, okay. So that's been a while. Cool. So I'm excited to see Episode 1 on the big screen again. Chris, are you and the family going to go see it on the big screen?
I would love to. If we don't have soccer going on, we will definitely try and get out, because it's I mean the nice thing about episode 1 is like I feel comfortable showing my 5-year-old that, and I say that now when I took a 3-year-old to go see The Force Awakens in a movie theater, after to be his first movie, to make sure that that's what it is. But
That was awesome.
I knowing my youngest, and like especially with him watching Young Jedi Adventures, and like he's got his pilot suit, but he's not too familiar. I think that'd be a good way to introduce him into the Star Wars universe that we all know.
Yeah. Well, and when Jason and I went and saw it in 3D was actually a shifting moment for me in my feelings with episode 1. Obviously, like I liked episode 1. There's a lot of stuff I do like in it, but the Jar Jar thing bothered me for a long period of time. Some of the politics bothered me for a long period of time. But the night that Jason and I went and saw the movie in 3D,
Saw it at like 1 p.m., dude. We were in the middle of the afternoon.
the afternoon when Jason and I went and saw episode 1 in 3D, we were surrounded by a bunch of kids. And as I watched episode 1 with a younger generation, like generation much younger than me, they ate that shit up. They loved Jar Jar. They laughed at Jar Jar. They they experienced the movie in a way that made me reevaluate my experience of it, because when I was 19 years old watching episode 1, having grown up with the original trilogy, there were things in that movie that were disappointing to me and that were a letdown, and Jar Jar was one of those things. But then watching it with kids 15 years after the movie came out, and they're enjoying it and really having a good time with what they were watching made me realize that like episode one was not made for me as a 19-year-old Star Wars fan. It was made by Lucas for the next generation of kids that grew up like I did with the original trilogy. And that kind of shifted my perspective on episode one. So I'm excited to go watch it again, and hopefully we have a good crowd when we go and watch it. And so
Man.
if you can make it, I hope you do. Does your family have anything special that you do on May the 4th?
So now that I know we can purchase blue milk and we don't have to
Oh,
make our own because we have done that in the past with blue food coloring, we will do that. But generally, I will watch The Force Awakens with my oldest because that was, like I said, that's the first movie he ever saw in the theater. I remember when it was released on Blu-ray, bringing it home and sitting down and staying up late with him and watching that, and got him excited, and he still gets excited for um, anything Star Wars that comes out. So
good.
the two of us will sit and watch that together.
Does he have a favorite Star Wars character?
He who has he like he goes back and forth. So we did one of our experiences at Disney was prior to them opening Galaxy's Edge. We were able to participate in the last Galactic Nights event that they had in
Oh, okay.
2018, which is just a huge Star Wars party, and it was that specific one was centered around the launch of Solo.
Okay.
So there were some of the actors were there, but also there were a lot of character interactions, and that's where he had his first interaction with a Jawa. And I think to this
Oh,
day, his favorite character in the Star Wars universe are the Jawas.
that's amazing.
He had a mini BB-8 plush, and he was dressed as Poe Dameron. And the Jawa offered to trade him for, I forget what they were, and he absolutely refused. But they had some good back and forth, and I think he's still kind of partial to the Jawas from that experience. He's
That is very
terrified
cool.
of Tusken Raiders, though. So
Oh, exciting. I've been seeing a lot of stuff on social media about Star Wars Nights has been going on. That's a thing. What
yeah,
is that?
it's in Disneyland.
Okay.
What they've done, and I think it's great, and I hope they can find a way to incorporate this at Walt Disney World. But Disneyland has created a fireworks soundtrack that goes along with the park fireworks. So the park
Okay.
fireworks can be seen from Batuu. And if you know anything about Disney, it's not something that they're necessarily happy about because they're all about theming and seeing different
Sure.
parts of the park and not seeing certain things. So they've
Which is
basically
harder in
created a
California because
soundtrack.
it's all kind of pushed together, whereas it's very
Exactly.
spaced. In Orlando, it's all pushed together in California, right?
Correct. Yep. So you can very easily see the fireworks, and traditionally had been able to hear some of the soundtrack to the fireworks show that was going on at Disneyland Park and the and Galaxy's Edges in California Adventure. So they created a soundtrack, actually three different soundtracks that go along to the different fireworks show that they have, and it's broadcast at night over Batuu. And I mean, it's the one that I did watch one, the video of one, and it started with the original Star Wars theme. And you get a piece of the Imperial March through it, and the lights shift from blue to red. So I mean, Batuu is lit up, but it's a creative way for them to use something that's already there and just fit in some music in front of it. But I would love for them to reintroduce a Star Wars nighttime show at Walt Disney World. For the longest time, they did have the Star Wars Spectacular at Hollywood Studios, where
Gotcha.
it was a laser show with some pyrotechnics and fireworks, where they showed scenes from
Oh, wow.
all of the films, and it was set to music. So I think there's, and this is kind of my gripe with Galaxy, even though I love it so much, is a lot of the theming and specialized things that they had at Hollywood Studios before Batuu opened. They lost with the opening of that because they centralized so much stuff to push people back into that area.
Mhm.
But I'd love to see them the Imperial March, Phasma with the stormtroopers, them walking down Hollywood Boulevard was one of the coolest things. It was chilling to watch, and then they get down and they just march back. Like they could definitely put something back there. I would love to see them incorporate more of that. To get people excited and then bring back the Galactic Nights. That was one of the coolest things that we've ever done at Disney. Just being able to participate in that with the photo opportunities, the character meet and greets, and
was that more like a closed private event thing?
Yeah, it was an after hours. It was a party, so I mean, it was open to purchase tickets too for
Okay.
anyone who wanted to go. But and that's we went down there specifically for
that
nice. Weekend because we knew it would be awesome. And I mean, you walked in and people had strollers that were decorated like the Millennium Falcon or X-wings or TIE fighters, like they're pushing their kids around. Droids are roaming around everywhere, and this was before. I mean, Galaxy's Edge at this time was still under construction. But.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And our guest, our former guest Drew Stafford, he also was friends with Luke Skywalker there at those crazy nights. So I know, like, I remember the Imperial March through Main Street or Hollywood Boulevard. That was kind of cool. I do know that in California, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Chris, in California, they actually rebrand Space Mountain at different parts, and probably right now with the Star Wars nights, whatever, you get on Space Mountain and they've put in digital projections of like X-wings and TIE fighters, and you hear the gun or the firing of the guns and stuff like that, and they're playing the Star Wars theme music while you're going through Space Mountain.
That's cool.
Yeah, so they've done that there. I know that I had never heard that they play the music differently. That's awesome to use the same fireworks show and just be like, oh, we're gonna change this up, which makes perfect sense in Disneyland. But you're right, like and they have some cool stuff. I like the animation show that they do and in Hollywood Studios right now at the end of the night. That's pretty cool, but I definitely think
that they have the Rocketeer music.
Yeah, it's well, they do like two different shows. One's kind of like animation based, and the other one's like live action based. So like the second one that you're talking about had the Rocketeer music. It also had Pirates of the Caribbean in it. And other stuff. And they play them. There's like a 15 to 30-minute break between the two. And we missed. Yeah, we were only there one night, so we missed that because of the fact that we were in Phantasmic, and so like that's why we missed most of that happening. So.
I got to see some more of it when my second night that Tuesday that I went back to Galaxy's Edge. I did stop and watch it. That was going on when I was leaving, and so I did stop and watch some more of that night by myself.
Yeah, so they could definitely lean into it, or even just do something in the back in Galaxy's Edge that they could do around one of the the Millennium Falcon, or even Kylo Ren's ship, or whatever the case may be. I had a really good interaction once, or while we were we were at the Rise of the Resistance, and Shane, I think you were with us the second time because we went with Samantha, who works on that ride, and I was wearing a different. It's the Star Wars shirt that I'm wearing in the picture back here, and we got on the ride, and she said, and like the lady who is the commanding officer for the Empire or whatever, First Order, she's sitting there and she's shooting off her mouth, and I was like, shh, nobody's scared of you. And then she like turned, she like snapped around. She was like, who said that? And then she got all into character, and she was trying to like ream me for it. And she was like, who is this on your shirt? I was like, and she was like, these rebel rags shouldn't even be worn around us, or something like. And it was just, we were laughing. That was a good time. And then the other time, I think it was my first time going to Galaxy's Edge, I was near Kylo Ren's ship, and stormtroopers were out there, and they were doing something. And I was like, they said something to somebody in the crowd, and I was like, it's not like you could, it's not like you'd hit him if you shot at him anyway. And then they were jawing back and forth with me on that, and I was like, and but yeah, it's kind of fun to have those interactions and them have that fun moment with them.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
I
that,
just
that Tuesday night that I went back by myself and hung out in Galaxy's Edge, was cool because when I was sitting outside when I bought my blue milk, I went and sat outside the cantina because it was kind of busy around there, and I just wanted to see the people watching and stuff like that outside of the cantina. And at one point, a bunch of Imperials walked through, and I've got some pictures of it where they would then just start randomly stopping people and like interrogating them and asking them like, "What's in your bags?" and "What do you have?" And like it was, I was like, "This is really cool." Like this, it wasn't like super immersive, but it was like immersive enough where it was like they were in character doing something that I thought was pretty cool.
You said all the lights
Uh,
walking around at night was pretty awesome
oh
too.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude. Yeah, seeing a lot of people carrying their lightsabers and having them turned on was really dope. It's like financially, this is just dumb for me to think about this, but I'm literally like, how soon can I go back? Literally, just if I go for like a weekend and just go to that park and just hang out in Batuu for 2 days, all day, eating and drinking and
Oh man.
enjoying being around. I don't care about. I mean, I would ride the rides if I was there because both of the rides were a lot of fun, and Star Tours was fun. And I know they've added a bunch of cool Star Tours stuff now. But like, just I keep thinking like, how soon until I can make just a quick weekend getaway to Orlando happen? Stay at a cheap park. I don't plan on being in my room very often, and then just shuttle over to Batuu and spend open to close in Batuu, just hanging out, buying another lightsaber because that's what I am.
And
But
Shane would be in the costume he's in right now the entire day.
absolutely. That's my other thing. Like on day one, I go, how many people are cosplaying around here? Because I might have to show up tomorrow in full gear.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I know it's dumb for me to think. Like I just was there like 3 months ago. I don't need to go back anytime soon, but I just want to. Like I just really like. It's so much fun hanging out with Dave and Jason and Joel while we were there during the day, and then the night that I went back by myself, just getting to people watch and watch people that love Star Wars the way that I love Star Wars. It's
Mm-hmm.
just amazing and fun. Chris, between the two rides, which one's your favorite?
Oh God. Um. Now it's Rise of the Resistance,
Yeah.
but um, when I first went, Rise wasn't even open yet. It was just Smuggler's Run. But man, when you sit in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon and like just,
Have
I
you
mean,
have
not before you even get to the cockpit, just the experience of walking up.
oh, yeah.
The
Sorry,
chess,
was that?
the chess,
Yeah,
like Shane's got pictures. We sat down and took
yeah,
pictures we'd never done before until this
yeah,
trip. And it's just like, yeah, man, to be like, I'm on the Millennium Falcon.
yeah, yeah. So, but then when you realize that you're older now and those rides that are the motion with the screen in front of you don't treat you as well as they used to, it's not not as fun, and kind of the novelty wears off a bit. But man, you're still in there.
A
But
quick question for you: Have
um,
you ever got to do the special ending to Smuggler's Run?
so we've tried. We have
Okay.
not gotten the correct sequence of buttons. Did you guys get to do it?
We did. There was 6 of us that went on the ride together, and when we
Uh-huh.
were on there, our guy that walked us in asked, "Is this anybody's first time?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's my first time." And he was like, "Okay, you push this button, you push this button." He told us the 6 things for us to do or whatnot, and we got the special ending. Which I mean, it wasn't that much. It's just one more jump that you do and fly through some extra
Mhm.
stuff. But like I remember the night that I went back by myself, and some people that were sitting near me were talking about how they were trying to get it. They were like, "Oh, we've never got the special ending to Smuggler's Run, and we've been trying all this stuff." And in my mind, I'm like, "Oh man, our dude like literally just told us what to do to get it."
That's pretty cool. I
So
mean,
yeah.
that's the cool thing with some of the cast members. I mean, the cool stuff that they know about and they enjoy helping
Mhm.
people enhance the experience. Did you guys? I know There's so much to do to immerse yourself in. But on the Play Disney Parks app, there are a number of things you can also do throughout
That night that I
Galaxy's
went back
Edge.
by myself,
Yeah.
I downloaded it and I would just sit down
Yeah.
somewhere and I'd start splicing all the things around me and I'd start, doing all the radio relays or whatever it was. And then I'd get up and I'd walk a little bit farther down and I'd sit back down and I'd see what was there for me to splice where I was, get my points built up, build up my resistance points or whatever I was doing. But yeah,
Awesome.
that kept me entertained for an easy hour that night while I was just hanging out and people watching. It was like, or I'd be walking around looking for stuff to do, or like that's what the photo of the Millennium Falcon that I took was because I was like, oh, the map says there's a signal coming from this way. I'm gonna go over here on like the backside of the Millennium Falcon. And yeah, man, yeah,
Yeah.
I easily could have spent many more hours there that night
yeah.
playing that. And it's not like it's anything special. It's not like I get anything for it. It's just like, here, make these things rotate in circles until you get things to line up and like dumb stuff. But I just felt like I was part of the resistance when I was doing it. And
Right.
I mean, they got me. They got me. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, very cool. Jason, of your four kids, do you know any of their favorite characters?
Sarah loves Ray.
Obviously, absolutely.
And then obviously Nick gave you his already. So uh Luke is a Luke guy.
Awesome.
Just because of the name, obviously. So
Yep.
and as far as Chris goes, Chris is all over the place, man. Although he did like playing Echo in Cookie Wars too. So that
Nice.
so definitely, he liked that. He doesn't know much about the Star Wars universe. Actually, probably out of all four of my kids, Christopher probably knows the least out of
Okay.
every. Nick loves the Lego Star Wars games. He plays
Oh,
that quite often. So he's all about that. So
have you bought him the complete Skywalker saga or whatever that?
yeah, Dave
Okay.
and his family bought it for him for his birthday a couple of years
Okay.
ago,
I was
last
gonna
year.
say literally like yesterday or the day before I got the email that it's on sale for $20 and it's normally like $80 or whatever. But yeah, I got the email that that's on sale right now.
So yeah.
Very
And none of my kids have ever gotten to build a lightsaber. None of them wanted to build a droid. I was kind of surprised by that myself because it kind of sucks because, so our friend Joel in this picture, he's right over here. He and I were telling Shane about the gallery, the painting gallery that used to be over at the bay. What the heck is the name of that
Docking
bay?
Bay.
Thank you, Docking Bay. So and they've taken all the paintings out.
Mm-hmm.
But like I was like, there literally was a picture of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and it was like Ewan McGregor from it was almost like Ewan McGregor-esque now Obi-Wan Kenobi, but this was years ago when I saw this photo, and it's him like in the desert, and he's like doing this like force thing, and he's got his lightsaber out, and like rocks are coming down on him or something, but I mean, the colors on it were amazing. And I was like, man, I should totally buy that because it was like 180 or something like that. And it was one of those moments where I was like, that's not that bad of a cost. But that was the first time that we had gone, um, back when Nick was like, this must have been like right after they opened that up because they had just gotten rid of the Pixar version of that and were putting in the docking bay. And then I was all kind of like, and I was like, man, we gotta go. I was like, if I ever see that photo, that painting again, I'm just gonna do it just because it was that great. And then like and then I end up going and it's not there anymore. And I was like, this sucks. Like, why take that out? Like you get to see all those great posters and the variant posters and stuff,
Yeah.
and all the original concept art, and which is nice. And then you get to see some other stuff. But yeah, I was really kind of disappointed that they took all the paintings out because maybe they just weren't selling
Yeah.
them.
Yeah. I mean, they really just turned it into that character meet and greet space.
Yeah. They got rid of
Yeah.
there was a shopping experience, like a shop that used to be over there, and they got rid of that
Yeah,
too.
that's where
Just
you could buy the Skywalker Ranch. Yeah, the wine from the Skywalker Ranch was there. You could buy prints of the art. You could buy at one point you could buy full stormtroopers gear, and but they kind of shifted all of that over near um, Star
oh,
Tours at that smaller gift shop you have there. Anything that's um,
and I'll give this to Shane. He was pumped. He was ready to spend money. He was like, "I'm buying a hoodie of Star Wars," and they all look like they're manga kid versions right
yeah,
now. That's like the thing that they're doing.
yeah.
And none of them looked anything like classic Star Wars at all. And I mean, we looked everywhere. We just kept going, and he was like, "These all look stupid." And I was like,
Like I
totally.
was going to Florida, and so I didn't bring any long sleeve stuff or anything for cold-ish weather because I'm like, I'm going to Florida. And then we get there, and I'm like, in chilly. Like this is like that t-shirt is not gonna cut it. I'm just gonna spend money and I'm gonna buy a Star Wars hoodie while I'm here. It's Disney, it's Star Wars. I'll suck it up and buy a hoodie. Well, I was also gonna buy luggage while I was down there, and I couldn't find luggage anywhere in the entire Disney anything. So I didn't buy luggage while I was because I went down with a fully packed backpack, expecting to buy luggage to bring home all the shit that I was planning to buy, and then nope, didn't find any luggage anywhere to buy, so that was dumb. But I
And
really,
I found luggage for him the one night he wasn't with me. Like
yeah,
Of course.
we were at the Animal Kingdom Lodge, and inside their shop they had suitcases, and I was like, "Oh, sure, I'm sure Shane's gonna find something somewhere." And so I didn't pick it up, and then he never
I went to
did.
Disney Springs and literally walked into every store in Disney Springs. I can't be the only person that's ever been like, want to buy luggage at Disney. I'm the only person. How they don't sell luggage anywhere. And then when we're at the airport getting ready to fucking leave, I find Disney luggage at the airport because that makes sense. That was, yeah. I just had to buy an oversized burst bag that I ended up not even doing anything with.
Mm.
You gave
Very,
it to
very
me.
frustrating.
You gave it
What?
to me.
Okay. I mean, I wasn't gonna. Yeah, I gave it to you because I wasn't gonna do anything with it. But
And my wife uses it a lot for all sorts of stuff, so we can be thankful for that. So thank you, Shane.
so it all works out. Um, any other Star Wars stuff that you guys want to talk about? First off, I appreciate you guys both tonight joining me for this for the fifth time. Jason and I have done a Star Wars episode. I absolutely love it. It's obviously something I'm passionate about and care about talking about. I love the fact that you guys do also. Chris, have any of your family members for Halloween ever done a Star Wars costume?
Sorry, Shane, what was the last part of it?
Has anybody in your family, like for Halloween or anything, ever done a Star Wars
Oh,
costume?
yes. So Bennett, my oldest, he for the longest time had a fighter pilot costume that's modeled off Poe Dameron's
Oh,
suit, and
cool.
actually had the helmet with that. So when he was, I want to say 4, um, he went as Poe Dameron with his plush BB-8, and I went as Porkins. So we went side by side. And more recently, with Shane, you'll appreciate the Indy 11.
Uh-huh.
Our local
Mm,
soccer team had Star Wars fan night, and my 5-year-old Carter got to don that fighter pilot
nice.
costume and get his picture taken with some of the pilots who were there. So it was a fun evening. A lot of characters that we see around the city at other Star Wars events
That's
were there,
awesome.
but they got to do the Imperial March around. So um, a lot of
I was
fun, a
really
lot of fun
upset
for
about
sure.
missing that. I was in Arizona that weekend. I was very upset about missing that because also another friend of mine that was there that night said that the Star Wars trivia was so easy that we would have easily
You
cleaned
would have.
up and won. And I'm like, damn it! I really wish I would have been there for that then.
Yeah, I'm sure you would have cleaned up. But the other thing, so not really a costume, but something else I think you'll appreciate. So the last time, last October, we went down to Disney. My son, who is very heavily into soccer, my oldest son, wanted to wear nothing but soccer jerseys every day that we were there.
Okay.
So I said, well, we're going to be spending some time in Batuu. So what are we going to do about that? So he asked me to create a jersey for him. So I made him a custom kit. He was a Black Spire smuggler, and they
Oh,
are their sponsor. I wish I would have had. I should have showed it to you. I'll send you a picture of it. But their sponsor was Onaka Transport Solutions.
okay.
They have the crest with the Millennium Falcon, Batuu across the top, the number 19. It's got the pilot patch on it. So I was pretty proud of myself,
I
and
cannot wait to see this
more
picture.
so proud of the fact that it earned him a fast pass for Smuggler's Run when he walked up and was wearing that. So I was pretty pretty excited about that.
How did you like? Did you order it online or did you like literally make it?
Oh
Or?
man, I busted out the old Cricut, did a little heat press on it, got it going, man.
Nice. So you just bought a blanket jersey and then you added everything
Yeah.
to it? Yeah, that's
Yep.
awesome.
Yeah, it was fun. So not quite a traditional costume, but something that met
Nice.
what he
I can't wait
wanted
to see
because
it.
he was wanting to wear those jerseys every single day, but he wanted something Star Wars themed. So it was a good time, and I was
That's
pretty
super
proud that we got that fast pass. So
yeah, amazing. Jason, you got anything else to close out the show with? Any Star Wars stuff for you?
Uh, just hoping we can pull off what we want to do, Chris. I wish you lived here on the north side if everything goes right at Halloween. We're planning on doing
Oh yeah.
we're gonna give out candy at my brother's house, and we're gonna set up a projector and a screen so that inside the like you're gonna open up the garage door, but that will reverse project it so that the projector's inside the garage, but we're gonna do like scenes of like us essentially just like walking through different things in Star Wars and just playing like all the Star Wars music like that goes with that. So like at some point when maybe we'll all be in the cantina and then you'll hear the do 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 do, and then like maybe we'll be on the Death Star and you get to hear the Imperial March. Who knows what we're dreaming up right now, but definitely stuff to help us prepare for what we want to do for Cookie Wars 3 too. Get some practice footage in there. So
I mean, in theory, we should have Cookie War 3 filmed and done by October 31st. I'm just throwing this out there.
but as far as like I kind of figured our test footage
Will
for
be what we use for that. Yeah.
we could have some fun just like walking around inside of that.
So are you not on the north side? I thought you did live on the north side.
He's in Greenfield.
I'm in Greenfield, so I'm on the
Greenfield.
east side,
Oh,
far
wow.
east side. Yep.
Far east side. Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't. For some reason, I thought you were up on the north side.
No, I'm not up there. It'd be nice though to see Jason and the family a little bit more, but we'll just have to be more purposeful about it.
That's
Get,
true.
get some, Jason. You need to host some get-togethers this summer so we can get everybody back together. Everybody likes flocking around you, so I'm putting you in charge of getting
Right.
some get-togethers.
You could always join Shane and I at a soccer match too.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
can.
So he invited us to Star Wars night, and we literally we were gonna buy tickets, and then Shane had to go to and for justified reasons went out to Phoenix, and so it was one of those things where like we were like, oh, we're gonna go, and then he was like, I'm not gonna be here, and we were like, we're not gonna go.
Yeah, that was on. That was bad timing.
And we definitely had some other stuff that was going on that weekend. So it was like we could go, or we could just finally have a couple hours of doing nothing.
Right.
Yeah.
So, which you being a parent, this that doesn't happen very often. So once that opportunity arose, we definitely took advantage of it. Do you guys know? I know Shane, you told me about Star Wars night, but there was another night that you were like, maybe you'd be in.
Dinosaur Night.
Oh, okay. Do
I
you
thought
remember?
that Chris might be interested in that. Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head what night it is.
It's later in the season.
Yeah,
After summer.
yeah. It's and I felt like that would probably be a more like For some reason, these early games, like the home opener, was miserable. That weather was terrible that night. It was freezing, and like it wasn't raining, which is good because like the last two home openers is rained, but it was just so cold that night that like yeah, I saw Chris for maybe 5 to 10 seconds that night. I was walking by his seats and I just was like, "Hey man, what's up? I'm trying to go get a blanket." But yeah, so we'll try to get you doing in the 11 match. We'll try and get a cookout this summer. Chris, I'm very excited about, it looks like we're going to work together again soon. For people who have listened to the podcast, they know that Jason and I have talked about going back to making a movie next year, a full feature-length movie, and you have graciously agreed to be a part of that. So I'm super excited to get to work with you again in the future. It's always fun and always a blast. Maybe we can convince some people to be in Cookie Wars 3 so that we can get some more bodies for Vader to fight. And then yeah, I appreciate you being on here. Thank you for doing the first ever May the 4th we did. I appreciate you being on here tonight. And I've actually got one other episode that I'm going to reach out to you and ask you to be a part of before we wrap up the show. So yeah, man, thank you for your time. Thank you for always coming on here and being amazing.
No, thank you guys. I always love coming along, especially when we get to talk Star Wars. But hanging out with you guys is always awesome. Anyway, both virtually and in person. So, looking forward to getting together here soon with y'all.
Awesome, man. Mr. Mayor, you got anything to wrap up the show with?
Tell people you love them while you can. Give the hugs all that you can, and just be, just always be kind. Show grace. That's the best things in this world.
Absolutely, completely agree with that. And with those wise words, may the force be with you.
May the 4th be with you.